a public order proclamation. Recently, Governor Hyacinth Alia, through an executive order, issued a proclamation for public order in Benue State. Performing the exercise on Friday, May 24, at the Government House in Makudi, Governor Alia, who was represented by his deputy, Barrister Sam Odi, explained that the order is pursuant to Section 14, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution and Section 10 of the Public Order Act, Cap 382 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The public order as issued has spelled out penalties for certain acts that are considered a violation of public order in Benue State. This has generated concerns about Benue people who are alleging that some of the acts prohibited seem to have an infringement on rights. How can citizens get to understand what exactly this public order entails to bring on board? And when the citizens' rights are infringed, as alleged by some persons in concerns expressed, how can they be ventilated? These are the issues we shall dive into on Perspectives this morning. We've been joined here in the studio by three discussants who will share insights on this subject matter. First, I'd like to welcome the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice and Public Order in Benue State, Barrister Fidelis Mnyim, is our guest on Perspectives. Welcome to iGate Radio, Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you.
We also have the Acting Director of Public Order in the Ministry of Justice, Public Order in Benue, Barrister Okwe Jones is with us. Welcome to the program, Barrister Okwe.
Thank you.
Also with us on the program is a private legal practitioner and a senior lawyer, Barrister Oscar Aorabee. Welcome to the program, Barrister Aorabee.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
My name is Nathaniel Nongu, welcoming you to this Friday edition of Perspectives. And if you are joining the program for the first time, be informed that it's an audience interactive and program. Later on, we will avail you the platforms through which you can reach us. We have started behind schedule already. Honorable Attorney General, we would like to begin with you. Kindly give us an understanding of what this executive order means and its context in democratic governance. Executive order for public order proclamation in Benue as issued by Governor Hyacinth Alia.
Thank you so much. Let me just first start with making a correction that the document that's circulated were actually the draft copy of the public order, not the final copy. On the final copy, you also see portion to section 315, sub 1, sub 2, and sub 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended as one of the constitutional provisions that is cited in making the order. The essence of this order, as declared by His Excellency, Reverend Dr. Hyacinth Mnyim, earlier under the Ministry of Justice and Public Order, is to look at some certain things and regulate as far as possible the state in such a way that anarchy will be reduced, order will be put in place. I'll give you an example. You have issues of, if you go around town, you will see the extent to which refugees are being dumped indiscriminately. It's also aimed to control as far as possible to see that people will know that there is an order against dumping of refugees indiscriminately. You also find a situation where some certain lands in town that are meant for development to make the town look like a town have been turned into farming activities. As far as possible as the government is concerned, you have a plot of land that is not fenced. But you have a plot of land that is fenced. You can carry out your farming activity in. But let the frontage be clean. We are a people that we should seek to have a town, cities that we'll be proud of. And then another aspect of this public order that is aimed to look at, there are a lot of growing insecurity around the state and even in the urban cities. You look around the town, you have growing challenges in terms of some activities that they call cultive activities. We have into public gathering, you see where they fight, matches themselves, stab themselves. We have one issue in North Bank that led to the death of the young man, wherein one of them stabbed him in North Bank at Lafayette Junction there. He couldn't survive it. So as much as possible, the government is trying to see into this situation, particularly that people should take responsibility in some of these things. Before now, we have something that we call neighborhood watch, wherein if you are you are somewhere in a community and a visitor comes in that community, the household wherein the visitor has come, we report to the next neighbor that I have a visitor here. So if a stranger has come into a community, everybody within the community is put to know that there is a visitor in the community. But we come at the point that there is no control. You don't even know the next person that you see. You don't have control of who comes into town, who is doing whatever into town. And the government is trying to look into it that there should be a situation where people are responsible for some certain activities carried out in town, in cities in Benue, as far as Benue State is concerned. So I'm just giving you a general overview. We'll go into the details.
Very well. We'll isolate some of the issues and speak to them. But I will come to you right away, Barrister Aorabee, before I come back to the director of the department. What is the place of executive public order in governance, especially in a democratic setting?
You know, the section 315 that the Honorable Attorney General mentioned was put in place as a transitional part of the Constitution, so that if a law existed under the military rule that was not in conformity with the Constitution and it's carried over as an existing law, like the Land Use Act and some of these laws, then the executive order is intended to modify that law, not make a fresh law, modify that law so that as to bring it in conformity with the Constitution. Because some of the laws were made by the military, they were not democratic in their nature. So the essence of the concerned authority making an order, an executive order, is to make sure that such laws did not go against the Constitution. So that was why that section was put in place, so that in the interim there should be the power in the executive to make sure that laws that are not in tandem with the Constitution are harmonized with the Constitution. That is the place of the public order in Nigeria.
Okay. Let me come to you now, Barrister Okwe. Through this order, the executive order as signed by the governor, it said by this order there is hereby established a Department of Public Order in the Benue State Ministry of Justice and Public Order. What is the mandate of this department?
Thank you very much. As rightly pointed out by the learned Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice and Public Order and my colleague, Mr. Oscar Aorabee, the public order that we're all talking about has also been something that has...
I think we're talking about executive order, not
yes.
Public order yet.
Yes, the executive order and which established the Department of Public Order. Yes, it is based on the executive order as issued, as that it indicates that a department of that nature has been established in the ministry. I hope I'm right.
Yes.
Very well. So that is what we give us what the mandate of that department in the ministry specifically is about with regards to this executive public order proclamation.
Yes. The Department of Public Order as created by the vision of His Excellency, the Governor of Benue State, has a mandate. And the mandate is to coordinate all activities relating to public order in the state and government policies that are in relation to the public order and safety and security of the state. And there are agencies within the public order project that are created. The public order department works in synergy with these departments that are created under the public order by the order of His Excellency.
Committee.
Yes, by the order of His Excellency. So the core mandate is to coordinate everything relating to the public order signing to law by His Excellency, and to ensure that we have a peaceful state, a state that is safe and secure for every one of us to live in.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, AG, you want to add something?
Let me just add something.
Please, go ahead.
Before we go on, like the question you asked me, the place of public order in a democratic setting. Like as rightly pointed out by our learned colleague, Aorabee. You see, a democratic setting presupposes that is the government of the people. Yes. So the public order comes in not to be permitted to say like a military marshal to whip the people around, but it's a document that is sold to the people. It's sold to the people, communicating what is important and to advocate that the people should be carried along in trying to put the policies of the government in order. Like I was just trying to point out some issues. There are some of those issues that were mentioned in the public order. They are already created by some laws. And over time, they've gone docile. Nobody's talking about them. Nobody's observing them. Like you see, the first sections of some of those issues to be pointed out are the traffic-related disorder in the state. But to call the people of the state that, please, our activities toward this should be orderly made, not disorderly made. So is a proclamation of the public order was an announcement to the people of Benue State that we need to tune ourselves in a proper perspective as a people of the state.
Okay, Honorable AG, from the public document available in circulation, under my seal, under my hand and seal on the 20th day of February 2024, is this when this public order came into effect? And if it was under the seal of the governor's hand at that time, why was it made public only in May?
Yes, thank you. Like I said from the beginning, that regrettably the document that was circulated was a draft copy of the public order, not the final copy of the public order. That's the document that went into circulation. If you had listened to the deputy governor who represented His Excellency Reverend Dr. Hyacinth Yomem earlier, while making the public order, he clearly announced that it's into effect on the 24th day of May 2024 and not February. It came into effect on the 24th day of May 2024.
Okay, so maybe when we finish the program, you do us a favor by availing us a clean copy of the document as issued now. But Barrister Aorabee, what is the desirability of executive public order to curtail the people? Is there any desirability of this?
I think I will have to go back to the issue of powers before I answer that. Now, as any student of administrative studies or law, we know there's a separation of powers between the executive, represented by the Attorney General and the Governor, between the judiciary, represented by the High Court, the Chief Judges, and the judges there, and then the legislature. This is called separation of powers. The law intends, the Constitution intends that power should not be concentrated in one hand. And so to do that, they call separation of powers. The legislature makes the laws. But to make sure that they are in conformity with the Constitution, that is any law that is existing or that was existing before the Constitution. And then the Constitution came into effect, and the law, we discovered that the law is not in conformity with the Constitution. You make an executive order making sure that it will modify the law to conform with the Constitution. Now the desirability or otherwise is, as stated in the Constitution, make sure that The law is not an arbitrary law. The law does not go against the Constitution, but conforms with the Constitution. But the undesirability of it is where the executive order goes outside the mandate to maybe make a new law, which encroaches on the powers of the legislature. And like the Honorable Attorney General said, I had that observation. Most of these things that are here are already in established law. They are not consistent with the Constitution. It's just a matter of revving up the enforcement of those laws. Like the issue of driving against the normal flow of traffic is a traffic offense, which you see traffic police on the road most of the time trying to control it. Then the issue of driving, I think part of that, I don't have the advantage of the final copy, but I also saw driving a vehicle under this section includes riding of bicycles. All these things are taken care of by the traffic law. So maybe, like he said, is to emphasize. But it's something like farming on an empty unfenced plot of land in front of any premises. I don't see how that how that connects with any law in existence, or is it a new law? How desirable is that? Has the House of Assembly looked at this, that, okay, let us legislate against farming in the urban areas? Then what about Urban Development Board, building of structures, kiosks, shanties on the right of way, hawking and selling? I think this is urban development. The Urban Development Board is saddled with the responsibility of making sure that illegal structures are not. So I think here the issue intends to just accentuate the need of an existing law, but not to modify it. So to me, the desirability is doubtful. And there are certain things that are made in that order. If I'm going to go by the what I have here as a draft copy, which the Attorney General said is not the authentic, but if this is found in the order, you make something like, I saw something like loitering about the late hours of from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. This is concern, it's a very an area of concern to those of us who are custodians of law, because in the colonial times there was a law in the penal code known as wandering. You have not committed any offense. The white man just sees you and feels that you shouldn't be in that place, and he arrests you for wandering, and then punishes you because you are black. Now this law of loitering about late hours from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. seems to me not to conform with the Constitution. And let me say this, because the Constitution says everybody has freedom of movement. You have the freedom of movement. It is curtailed under certain circumstances. If there's a state of emergency, then you can, that right can be temporarily infringed upon. You declare a curfew and say from this time to this time, no movement. But I have not seen any incident of that will warrant the curfew. This is a curfew in an executive order, that somebody should not move about from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. There's no reason for this executive order wanting to infringe on the right of private citizens to move about freely. And this loitering section of the order does not take into consideration the fact that somebody might be traveling interstate. You're coming from Lafia, you left Abuja, or you are coming on a journey and then you enter into the town. I don't know whether the loitering is about walking about, or just movement. But in the end, it talks about movement. And then there are certain things like you say people should take permission before they can do their businesses at a certain time, hours of the day. I know as a Christian, there are certain behaviors that I don't like. But then, democracy is different from theocracy. So there are certain things that people of adult age can do. Morality, we condemn it, but there are sometimes the law does not. And some of these conduct, in as much as the conducts are reprehensible, they are, by the time you want to go into them, assuming somebody wants to challenge this, somebody is you say somebody should not move about at a certain I don't want to go into that because I don't want to encourage the public to do certain things, but then we have to make sure that these things conform with the Constitution. You remember decree number 4 of 1983, that obnoxious decree. I see it rearing its face in this public order. False information on social media, hate speech. Under this order, any person desiring special consideration or waiver granted for whatever purpose shall apply to the Department of Public Order or permit under such terms. I don't think that we have freedom of expression, and there are libel laws. The federal government has consistently tried to curtail freedom of speech by some of this trying to muzzle social media, but that has not worked. The cyber crimes laws, cyber bullying, cyber stalking and all that, they are there in the law, the federal law. So asking, now declaring false information on social media, how do you monitor this? And I said, in law, there is what we call mischief. The law is made, or like this executor is supposed to curtail or to cure a mischief. The law is intended to cure a mischief. That is something that is going on that the law does not want, that is not good to the public. The law now cures that mischief. But in most instances, the law becomes a mischief itself, as we saw in the case of Decree number 4 of 1983, where Buhari was taking people into jail. If you publish anything in the newspaper, Tunde Thompson and all these things, they were raided, they were arrested for something that they felt was against the government, even when it was not an offense. So I see this public order not so much conforming with the Constitution, more so that it does not seem to modify laws, but there are certain areas that appear like the new laws are being made without subjecting them to the legislature.
Okay, let's go along. Barrister Okwe, I am with you now. By the pronouncement of this document, the proclamation of this public order and the organogram of some of the establishing agencies, we have seen a public order task force which shall operate throughout the state, inclusive the local government areas. There shall also be a public order tribunal, as well as the public order advisory councils. What are the roles of all these established agencies, and are they not conflicting? A public order task force, a public order tribunal, and also a public order advisory council. What are their respective roles in the enforcement of this public order proclamation?
Thank you very much. What is envisaged in the order regarding the establishment of the Public Order Advisory Council is that the body is going to be responsible for implementation of government policies and programs regarding public order, and they will advise government on the issue of public order and public safety in the state. The committee, advisory committee, is to liaise with the Department of Public Order in the Ministry of Justice and ensure that the executive order, the provisions of the executive orders are carried out. And then, talking about the task force, the task force, the duty of the task force is to ensure that the provisions of the order are enforced out there on the street, out there in the villages, out there in the public space. Because it may not, the department may not have, the staff of the department may not have the equipment and the necessary logistics to do the enforcement out there in the villages, in the streets, and in our neighborhood. So there is a need for the task force to enforce the provisions of the order. And then the order also talks about the tribunal.
Okay, yes, I'm with you. I'm still
The order talks about the tribunal, the setting up of a tribunal in order to handle cases that may be coming out of the implementation and enforcement of the public order passed into law by the governor. So there's going to be a task force in the state, all over the state, made up of also other stakeholders, all the stakeholders. We know that public order is in the domain of the security agencies, but the public order, like the other speakers have already said, it is to supplement, is to supplement the efforts of the security agencies and complement.
Okay, and this is exactly where fears, as expressed in public domain, are alleged that there are fears, like you mentioned, that is in the order of within the confines of security. This task force that the public order has brought into existence doesn't mean the department is going to recruit new people as a task force throughout the state that will function in enforcing the public order, and will it not be open to abuse?
No. That exactly is within the contemplation of the law, of the order being signed into law by His Excellency, that there will be a task force that is going to be responsible for the enforcement of the order. And we have had other examples from other states, like Lagos State. We have LASMA. We know, all of us know the effectiveness of LASMA in Lagos. The Lagos State Transport Management Agency, they have a task force, and they have the nebulous problem of traffic in Lagos has been, have been dealt with by that task force in Lagos. And you see people who have been worried about the traffic situation in Lagos now commenting, like the time of Fashola. He did a lot of things. Governor Fashola did a lot of things through the task force, and the security, the traffic situation in Lagos has actually improved.
Apologies to interrupt you.
Yes.
I will come to you shortly, AG.
Okay.
I will come in shortly with you. But like the example of LASMA, which you mentioned in Lagos,
Yes.
that is an established agency, a transport agency, not kind of task force domiciled in the Ministry of Justice or constituted for enforcing public order by the governor. It's an agency established, if I get you correctly. Right. Okay, AG.
Yes.
You have listened to your colleagues, and particularly I'm still with you on the conflicting roles of the alleged conflicting roles of some of these established agencies: the Public Order Task Force, the Public Order Tribunal, the Public Order Advisory Council, and the committees at the local governments. Will help us understand the various roles that we have to play.
Okay, sorry. Thank you so much. There are issues. This public executive order made on public order, we know that we have a Herculean task to be able to explain to the people of Benue State so that the clarity will be made. Permit me to just make some observation on some issues.
Okay.
Before I come to this answer. First, on the issue of whether or not the governor can make public order on new issues that are not contained in any existing law. Now, The National Assembly, the State Houses Assembly, are saddled with the responsibility of making laws. The National Assembly, the acts, and the State House Assembly, the laws. Now, Section 10 of the Public Order Act, made by the National Assembly, permitted the governor to make additional orders, to make additional public orders, particularly Section 10 of the Public Order Act. And now when you look at it, most of the items contained in these various sections of this executive order, yes, like my dear colleague Aorabee said, they are contained in existing laws. Now it's an issue to bring them out, shout them out to the people of Benue State that the government is taking these provisions of the law seriously, and people should stay away from it. Now, which is the code, it's also it's the duty of the governor to do that. It's the responsibility of the governor to do that. He is permitted, and I say and I repeat myself, permitted to do that. To emphasize the existing law for the purpose of compliance to the laws. Now, having said that, now let me move quickly to the issue of task force before I come to the advisory committee. The task force provided here in the executive order is not going to be people recruited on the streets to come and form the task force. It's not the public order department on the Ministry of Justice is only a coordinating unit. That's why at the declaration of this public order, all security agencies were invited. And the essence of this public order is to draft all the security agencies that are within the, for instance, we cannot talk about issue of traffic enforcement of traffic offenses, so to speak, or disobedience without bringing in the road safety. So all the necessary existing security agencies are going to be drafted into this task force that we monitor the enforcement and compliance of the provisions of this executive order as far as public order is concerned. Now, we are necessary on uniform persons that are may be picked to join these existing uniform persons, security agencies, for the enforcement or ensuring enforcement of the provisions of this public order. They are not necessary to play a front role. But they are like whistleblowers to this task force, these existing security agencies that are drafted into this task force to ensuring that the provisions of this executive order has come to stay. Now let's go back to the issue of the advisory committee. Like I say, we are in a democratic setting. We are not in a military regime. I'm sorry to the security agency, the military. I'm not without intent to undermine or say insults to any set of persons. We are not. We are in a democratic setting, and now we are mindful that if the issues of this enforcement of the provisions of this executive order, as far as the public order is concerned, they are not carefully monitored, there will be issue of abuse, arbitrariness. That's why a committee is set in place. An advisory committee is set in place to say to the governor or to the Attorney General, look, this area we want to delve into. This section, these provisions as are made, have been put out there. They are they are on the grassroots. They are interacting with the people of Benue State. The advisory committee is going to be picked from the stakeholders of the Benue State to interact day to day with the people of Benue State. Now to report to the to His Excellency whether or not an issue in the public order is desirable, it should be dropped, or additional orders should be made to cover whether there are lacunas. So that at the end of the day, His Excellency is not running the state through public order like a military regime. So the advisory committee is to watch the tempo, interact with the people, bring back report. I say this with all sense of humility, that His Excellency Governor Hassan Al-Leah is a listening governor. Now, when the issue is going the other way around, that the enforcement, the task force that are going out, the advisory committee is monitoring their work. The advisory committee is monitoring their work. If there is need to say this XYZ set of persons that are going into enforcement, they are going beyond the scope of what he intended as the governor of Benue State that should be done. They advise the governor on what to do. So that's the necessity of the advisory committee. But let me say, why is it a committee, advisory committee and a committee at the local government? The advisory committee is for the states. And remember, we have 23 local government that run into several wards in the state. Now, when you step it down to local government, you understand that the interaction at that local government is done better at that if you have a committee that look in that local. For instance, the committee for Makurdi local government will not be looking at the issues that relate a committee in Kwandi local government. Now, the committee liaises with the advisory committee, and the advisory committee also liaises with the governor through the Ministry of Justice on policies. This is not a straitjacket rules or others have been put in place. They are amenable.
Okay. Honorable AJ,
yes.
The tribunal, the public order tribunal, what its role?
Now, okay, if you look at the provisions of this order, the public order tribunal, in terms of enforcement of the penalties that are spelled out there, if you look at the jurisdiction where it is placing there, the public order tribunal came the last, and there is a purpose for that. First, we said if any of the infringement relates to any of the issues that are already contained in an existing law, the provisions of the existing law in terms of enforcing that penalty take precedent. That's number one. Number two, the jurisdiction of the person that we hear issues relating to some of these issues that are not necessarily contained in the existing law. First, a magistrate or an area court judge has jurisdiction to listen to. In an area, in a situation where one cannot be found, then we say the public order tribunal that will be chaired by justice of peace. Now, mindful with this public order tribunal, there is a limit they can go as far as the law is concerned. They can only hold swear. Now, to saying that an offense has committed here, and if you read the provisions of this public order entirety, if you read them in entirety, they talk about the rules that regulate the operation of the order. If you read even on the issue of the tribunal also say the rules will be made and gazetted on how the tribunal operates. So the tribunal is not going to operate in vacuum. I'm mindful very well, as Attorney General of the state, I know the limit to which that tribunal can go.
Okay.
So this limit, it's therein contained in the rules that will soon be made public once they are gazetted.
It's okay. All right. Let's, dear listener, in case you are just tuning in, you have been listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. We are discussing the Benue State government proclamation of public order through an executive order by Governor Hyacinth Alia. Our discussants here in the studio, I have with me the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice and Public Order in Benue State, Barrister Fidelis Mnyim is with us. We also have the Director of the Department for Public Order in the Ministry, Acting Director, Barrister Jones Okwe is with us, and a private legal practitioner and a senior lawyer, Barrister Oscar Aorabee is also with us here in the studio. The numbers through which you can reach us to also contribute on the program is 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. But I would I'll come to you shortly. I will appeal to you, dear listener, that we'll start taking your calls at about 10:15, 10:15. We'll engage further with the discussant, and about 10:15, we'll start engaging with you who are listening to us. The number through which you can reach us is 0814-335-9292. You can also send us a WhatsApp message or a text on 0912-699-9404. 0912-699-9404. This program is also streaming live on all our social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And you may listen to us via our website on www.agateradiotv.com. If you log on to the website, please go to the top right corner, click on the radio icon, and you may listen to us. And if you have your Radio Garden app on any device at all, you can also access Agate Radio programs and this particular program there. AG, you were itching to add something, but before you add what you wanted to actually, I will do. Let's walk through some of the issues that have been prohibited, some of the acts that have been spelled out to be a violation of public order and will be punishable. For instance, from the commencement of this order, rallies, wakes, and other forms of public gatherings shall not hold beyond the hours of 10 p.m. in the state, provided that any person, organization, or group that intends to hold a gathering beyond 10 p.m. must seek and obtain a permit from the Department of Public Order at the Ministry of Justice and Public Order. Honorable AG, does this not sound like infringing on the rights of people? And if people are to actually obtain a permit to hold any function beyond 10 p.m. throughout the state, what don't you think this will mount pressure on the ministry, the department? Will it cope with the demands of Benue people?
Yes, thank you. Let me say what I was itching to say, which is part of what you just brought out, was on the issue of loitering that my learned colleague Aorabee just pointed out. And then to also give you a general answer that if you read through the provisions of this public order, I say this boldly that it's not infringing on the rights of people. And I will explain as we discuss further. Number one, let me start with the issue of loitering. If you read the provisions that talk about the issue of loitering, now the word loitering was chosen purposefully.
Okay.
It was not movement generally that was used. Loitering that has specific meaning, has a specific moving around aimlessly. And if you check the dictionary, you
that's
can see,
wandering.
Yes, if you check the dictionary, you can see so many. You can see the meanings as far as loitering is concerned. Let me quickly say that because I've read on social media the generality, the extension that people have done, the interpretation that people have done on this particular provision as far as loitering is concerned. Number one, this public order is not prohibiting anybody going around in his vehicle. This public order is not stopping anybody that is going around on a motorcycle, popularly known as Okada. Now, like he's saying, whenever a law, so to speak, is intended to be made, a mischief must be identified. What's the mischief beyond this loitering, behind this loitering? You go around town, you have some issue, you have several issues of this stealing that are going on. Somebody park your car in a house that is not fenced. Someone comes there and remove your battery on the car. You are aware of it. It's not something new. And several of these issues, you find out these people that loiter or walk around in the night, in the dead of the night that other persons are sleeping. What are you doing? But there is, even at that, the loitering is not completely prohibited. If you read that provision, you will see that even under that loitering, if you see read that provision, you see under that loitering, unless for emergency or very important matters. Now, what is intended to be prohibited here is when you are aimlessly moving around, loitering around without any purpose. Now, this is our class. I'm not giving a general condemnation. What is intended to achieve here is to curtail the issue of one insecurity, the issue of the general stealing that we have and we are having. I said this with, but I'm not calling Benue people that are thief. Please, let me be very clear on this. But you have pocket issues like that existed. The question is, why are you saying only the people loitering should be prohibited and you allowing the Okada and those that are driving in the car? The issue is, those people, you have a house that is not fenced and someone coming on, maybe he's on a bike to come and remove your battery. I'm just giving a practical example. You may hear the sound and wake up, but we have a practical situation. Do this class of people use vehicle or car? Yes, but they will come and park very far. They will come silent, tiptoe, and come and cause the event and go away. Cause the event and go away. Now, the point is, from the death of the night, the dusk, to down to around 12 o'clock, it's enough for you. If you have any reason to walk around, you will walk around. Beyond that, you have emergency or very important matters that you must walk on the leg to go and do. It's permitted. So it's not a general prohibition that people are saying. Nobody is infringing on the rights of freedom of movement of anybody here. Because like my dear colleague Aorabee said, they are rights, but those rights are qualified and the rights are defined. So what is aimed here is to tackle the issue of insecurity and the issue of some of the vices that take place in the dead of the night while other persons are sleeping.
Okay.
Now, I move to even the issue you've asked on the issue of social gathering.
Yes.
Now, very important. And let me say, before I talk about this issue of social gathering, the task force that is being put in place, they are not, the task force that is being put in place, they also have to periodically undergo briefing, a discussion so that they are bring up to speed with the intent or purpose of this enforcement. Is not arbitrarily, of course. So now you're talking about the issue of social gathering. If you read the provision of this public order relating to the issue of public gathering, nobody is prohibiting in total the issue of rallies and public gathering. Now the government wants people to be responsible, people to take responsibility on some certain issues. On issues that happen around them. You are organizing a public gathering, perhaps a party. Now the government needs to know if something happened at that party, who will be held responsible that you are the one that called for a party that an occultic fight broke up, people were killed. You know, a lot of issues happen like that, and most of the time, wrong persons are being arrested. I'm speaking practically as a person that exists in the society. I'm not speaking that because you are an attorney general of the state, so you cease to be a member. No. I'm speaking practically to issues that happen, that are day-to-day issues that everybody in Benue is aware of it. Now, what the government wants is, if you're carrying out, you're organizing a public gathering beyond hours of 10, let the government know that you are the one that is responsible for this gathering, that is going into the depth of the hours.
Okay.
It's not a total prohibition.
Very well. Honorable AG, given the kind of bureaucracy we know that is associated with some of these processes, the public order stipulates that anyone that seeks to operate, hold a gathering beyond 10 p.m. should obtain a permit from the ministry. This is Benue of 23 local governments areas. Is this foreseeable to have people across the 23 local governments obtain permit before they will carry out any social gathering beyond 10 p.m.?
Let me announce to you that this permit can even be obtained online. The platform is being worked, is being provided. That this permit can even be obtained online. So it doesn't, we are moving away from this, we have moved away from the Stone Age. So we are in a jet age. So you shouldn't expect anybody that want to carry out a social gathering in Ogbadibo to travel and come to Makurdi, to come and practically put a handwritten application and wait for the director of public prosecution, wherever he is, maybe he's in court, he will come back and issue you the permit, and then you start traveling back to Ogbadibo. Or you want to carry out this occasion at the boundary of Benue and Taraba, at Jota, you should travel and come down. The social media is with us. So these are the positive side of social media that should be embraced. The ICT is with us. So these are positive side of ICT that should be embraced. So there won't be pressure or overbordering or congestion or bureaucratic bottleneck as far as this is concerned. We're prepared for the job.
Okay, Barrister Okwe. Also, part of the provision of this public order, all businesses in the cities, towns, and villages in Benue State shall close by 12 midnight and shall not operate beyond the said hours in the night, except health workers, security operatives, and other unessential services, provided that any person, organization, company, or corporation that intends to carry out these businesses, their businesses beyond 12 midnight, must seek first and obtain a permit from the department. So it's not just about social gatherings, businesses, commercial activities. Speak to us about this, Barrister Okwe.
Before Barrister Okwe speaks, I was even going to talk about the same way I responded on the issue of social gathering. And on business too, the government wants people to be responsible. Now, you carry out their business beyond 12 midnight, which is expected by normal estimation. They are, in quote, dangerous hours of the time. Because a lot of people that would have raised alarm that something is happening here wrongly are already asleep. Now, you want your business to be 24 hours. The government is saying, no problem, you can go ahead and do your business for 24 hours. But let's know this person that is carrying the business beyond 12 midnight, so that if anything happens beyond at that hour, we should know. So people should be responsible to the happenings around them. It's not a total prohibition. It's not. And government that want to open up the states for business, for development, cannot close the activities in totality of the people in Benue State. Government encourages people to have businesses. You can run your businesses 24 hours. But the only issue is that if you're going into that time that in court is considered to be dangerous hours of the night, come forward, register, obtain a permit. We'll know if a crime is committed around a business premises in Boko. First on our data, on our data, when we track, we know this is the person that carry out business around this place. First, the person, not necessarily that the person is arrested, that you're carrying out business and a crime is happening here. We expect that within your confines of where you're staying, and people are aware, you should have a first-hand information that something had happened.
Okay. So, the Director, you would like to chip in a word briefly before we move on that same issue?
Yes, like the Honorable Attorney General has highlighted, the dead hours of the night, we all know what happens, what takes place at the dead hours of the night. And the entire idea behind this particular section is not to interfere with anybody's right to operate his or her business, but the whole idea, security of the state, security of our environment, security of the neighborhood is what motivated the provision of this act, this particular section of the order. And so, like the Honorable Attorney General has pointed out, it is not a blanket thing. There are persons that have been exempted who are on essential duties. And also, peradventure, your business is not even the one that runs throughout the night, or that but you have a special occasion, you have a special event, you have a special something that, a program, special program that you want to operate throughout the night. Some conferences hold in the night, some other programs hold in the night. But we are saying that if you are going to do a program that exists at 12 midnight, on special occasions, you can also obtain a permit from the Minister of Justice and Public Order.
Okay, we'll open the telephone lines shortly. Okay. Several calls are waiting on the line. By Aorabee, you have listened to the AG and the Acting Director of the Department of Public Order. Do you have any comments to make with regards to some of the submissions they have made, allaying the fears of the public that this is not an outright infringement on the rights of citizens?
Yes, I think I'll give the Attorney General, the Honorable Attorney General, the benefit of the doubt that they are coming out with rules. Otherwise, this tribunal, manned by Justice of the Peace, he has the powers to appoint Justice of the Peace in the state. I know that, and I think I even discussed with him one time. But we have no Justice of the Peace now. One, what is the jurisdiction? What is the powers? What is the composition? Because the law must not be ambiguous, vague. Because if we make a law that is vague, it is subject to abuse. For instance, I read on a Kankuru's war yesterday that the police arrested somebody for loitering based on this executive order, and they collected 200,000 for him for bail. So, yes. And where a magistrate or an area court has powers to do something, and the area courts and magistrate courts are scattered throughout the state, the Justice of the Peace, whose appointment is yet to be known, and when you are constituting, I think the law, the order should constitute, say the public order tribunal should be considered by who, so and so, because the Justice of the Peace alone cannot become a tribunal. And what is the essence of a tribunal when the courts are there and when these offenses are already stipulated in laws and made punishable and the jurisdiction of the courts are stated? Most of these traffic offenses, magistrates, all these other offenses, you have mobile courts. I think for sanitation, you have mobile courts. So why constitute a tribunal again? More so, the issue of the task force also. Who makes up the task force? It is vague. And anybody can just come, a vigilante group or whatever, can just say, we're a task force here. How do you give, what instrument do you give them to say this is a task force? And you know, there's what we call task force, revenue collectors, they go about, some of them are illegal, some of them are supposed to be legitimate, but you can't tell because they have powers. That is, they exhibit some sense of power. So the law should not leave us in a quagmire of vagueness, but there should be specific provisions about the powers of the tribunal, the compositions, the limits of their exercise of their jurisdiction, and where the magistrate court, their magistrate court, area courts. Some of these things are crimes that the area court you must be a lawyer before you can try somebody. So these things, once you go to the local, in fact, let me just chip this in. I met some people were discussing, some among them were some lawmakers. They said this law, this executive order is intended for townships only. Because I don't see the practicality of this in the villages. It will be abused, and all these people loitering. There are no bikes in the village. People walk from their places to this thing. So it will be subject to abuse if it is not streamlined and specifically qualified.
Okay.
And then again, I know you may go to issue of defecation.
Yes, we'll go to let's come to that later because we have people waiting on the line. Let's engage with some. Hello, good morning and welcome to
good morning, Mr. Nathan.
Morning.
Nathaniel.
Good morning to you. Welcome.
Daniel, turn on the line.
Okay, Daniel, where are you reaching
In
us from?
fact, I want to thank you so much because it's like you are the Holy Spirit here. Because yes, I don't know what was in your mind that you brought this topic. Because yesterday you were talking this topic, me and my brother, yesterday night, this very topic. And today, thank God, I did not even listen to the news. I just opened my radar, discovered that you are talking a very wonderful discussion. I want to thank you so much. You see,
thank you.
Now I want to focus on two things.
Daniel,
about the late night and and the farming. This thing. You see, I want to appreciate my Oga Barr Aorabee so much. You see, this law, when it come out, some security agents, as you know, I don't want to mention the name, you know, some of them, they abuse it. Because about 2 days ago, when these laws come up, in my area where I'm living in Ojung here in Makodi, do you know that those people came? People, in fact, people, they just came to, they just came, started arresting people that will come around and host their bike there. They just come and arrest all the bike and took away to their station. And there was one way kid that happened to our area. A mother and their daughter died. People that was coming there, they do arrest them too. So I said, like me, Danotina, last time I went to NKC Chaurata for one of the programs. So I was coming back around 1 a.m. Somebody just gave me a lift from Wadata to Uruko roundabout there. So I just go there, ate, and from there I took a bike to my house. So please, sir, you are saying that they should do this thing. So I want this thing as the Attorney is there, sir. You are saying there is good, but I know so some security agents, they will do this thing before maybe we will call to you. Maybe some people they won't be opportune to went and register as you are saying. But I mean, what I know, any town that when you went there, sir, there are some towns, there are some places that people do not sleep there. So that any time that you come around in that town, when you want to eat, you eat. Even when you eat bed, they will make sure that security are there. They will be saying that nothing happened. So please, sir, the way you explain is good. But like now, in Makodi, we know that there's one place that people don't sleep. Even 24 hours, when you travel and want to eat, you come and eat there. So as we do, say, sir, those security agents, they should be warned. They should harassing people because as this order has said, they have been harassing people. That is my contribution. Have a nice day, sir.
Have a nice day. Thank you, Daniel.
Sorry, can I just say something to you?
We will get along, Honorable AG. If we respond to them individually, we may not engage with others who make that. So just be noting the concerns. After that, we'll summarize some thoughts on that. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you. I am called not to do Abraham.
All right, good to have you call not to do it. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Mase, Maduku, along Makudi Aliede Road, beside Ikohi.
Okay, go ahead, Corner.
I want to appreciate, first and foremost, the government of Father Alia for the effort he is doing towards securing Benue. I have been one of those who have been complaining that this government is not doing anything about the security in this state. But based on what I'm hearing today, I think government is doing a lot of underground work to see that Benue State is secured. I am a bit surprised as an unlearned person that the learned man in the studio, Oscar Aorabee, was saying that he sees no reason for this public order, executive order as passed by the government as far as security is concerned. If I got him right, he was saying something like that.
No.
Given the fact that
you are quoting him out of context, but go ahead with your thoughts anyway.
I want to justify the public order as being called by the government because of the insecurity in the state. I think there is reason for this public order because we see a situation whereby people come into our community, we don't know them, they operate as they like, even into the dead of the night. And we wake up sometimes to hear that there are killings here and there, and there is no trace about it. So I think this is a very commendable effort that this government has taken towards ensuring security in Benue State.
All right.
So I just want to appreciate the government for that.
Thank you.
And I think they are doing the right thing.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, we would like to appeal to our listener. If you call, try to be brief because other persons are also waiting on the line to engage with us. Don't go beyond 2 minutes. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Welcome to the program.
Emeka Anyok from North Bank, Makodi.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, I think I'm of the opinion that Benue State government have done the needful. Now, it will make some families to see their daddies and their mommies earlier. Because when you allow a man to stay outside, his child will be calling this daddy. Instead of calling his daddy, you say uncle. This time around, it will make you to sit at home and remain at home. The public order is good. And again, lottery in the night, I can't imagine. Somebody will be in a beer parlor late in the night, he cannot come to the house. And if something happens to him, they will say unknown gunmen. I think the government have taken a good decision. Secondly, again, you are thinking about doing your business late in the night. And if they come and snatch those monies that you have gathered within that period, who will you hold? So I am of the opinion that the state government have done so much to curtail most of these things. Why is the public complaining? The public should not complain because they are the same people who are crying for insecurity. And people are loitering within your environment every day. And you don't know them in the night. Then you cannot give account of them. You want security people to come. Can security cover everywhere? Now, policemen are going around arresting people who are loitering in the night, and we are complaining. What do you want the government to do? So everybody have to join hands together to do the needful.
Okay.
And where I have to come in again is that this public order is very good. You can see that people will not be dumping inside the drainages that government have done in the front of your house. Okay. You are dumping and you are allowing flood to come. And when flood come now, if you enter your house, you will be crying to government to relocate.
Thank you, Emeka Nyogo. Thank you. We appreciate you. Once you hit 2 minutes and you don't seem to conclude, we'll be tempted to disconnect you from this end. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Nathaniel.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Thank you very much. I greet the guests in your house.
Yes, let us know your name and where you're reaching us from.
My name is not concern.
I'm so sorry. If your name is not my concern, we'll have to disconnect with you. We establish with people on this program based on their identity. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I'm Kwaza Vincent calling from North Bank.
All right, Kwaza, go ahead.
Yes, I greet the guests in the studio. Well, I overheard the guests talking about banning the social gathering beyond 12 midnight. So my question is, what about burial that go beyond the 12 midnight? Is it included in the law?
Okay. Could that be all from you, Kwaza?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. We appreciate you. The discussant to respond to your question. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's engage with more calls waiting on the line. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, presenter.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, just in the studio.
Good morning.
You are speaking with Mark Anwang, the father from Chihaka local government.
Okay, Mark, go ahead.
Thank you so much. For me, I totally agree. I agree with the public order made by the present administration in the leadership of Governor Hassan. It's a welcome development because we were crying about the issue of insecurity day and night. And I think if the movement are restricted in this public order compliance, I think it will be easy for security men to fetch out the bad element. Because it is when they are in the mix of people and it won't be easy to identify. And they will
Hello, Mark. Oh, Mark, we lost connection with you just when you wanted to land with your points. But I think you have made your submission. Okay, AJ, you were itching to respond to some of the concerns raised, but I'll come to you because we still have a course waiting on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you, sir.
Yes, it's talking to Mr. Armstrong.
Okay, Armstrong who?
Yes.
Armstrong.
Good morning.
Morning, Armstrong who, please?
Armstrong Wasi.
From where?
From High Level.
Okay, Armstrong, go ahead.
Yes, I want to appreciate Governor Hyacinthe earlier for his concern about security. Are you listening?
Armstrong, we are listening to you. Go ahead.
Then my major challenge is that I want to ask whether the executive order that the governor has given, are they in stardom with the already established laws of our land, or they are conflicting with the laws of the land? Because restricting movement is more of interfering with the fundamental human rights of movement. Am I correct? Maybe I want him to respond to this.
Okay, could that be all from you?
Yes.
Okay, Armstrong, thank you for your submission. Your question is noted. We will speak to it. All right. Honorable AG, let's engage with some of these persons briefly before we go along. You were itching to say something about the first call made earlier on, and some questions we have had. One from Kwaza Vincent, he asked whether the prohibition of social gatherings beyond 10 p.m., does it include wakes? But if he heard me, yes, it is part of what we read, but let him hear from your mouth. And also the question from Armstrong, Yowase from High Level. Briefly, before we go
Thank you so much. I was actually itching to say something because before Daniel Taylor, who asked the question on the issue of
how the security, alleged that security
yes,
harassing.
Yes, particularly on the abuse of the public order. Yes. There's this, if you get to a police station, there's something, in most of the police station, you'll see written on the entrance of the police station that bail is free. Now, this is an existing, norm or law that you are not expected to make any payment for bail. Now, why this caution? It's caution because the incessant abuse of the people that have been arrested, wherein you're asked to pay some amount of money before you secure your bail. Of course, why making this public order? on making this executive order on public order, the issue of abuse is an issue that was also considered. Like I said from the beginning, that's why we had those committees. And beyond the committees, there's something I wanted to say. That's why immediately I wanted to point out at this point that very soon, and I mean very soon, we are going to send out some lines that if you found anybody, any of the enforcement agent or anybody trying to enforce the public order, going contrary, or demanding money from you that you should pay, or going contrary to what you know, you can reach out to us. We're going to provide lines that you can call, you can send WhatsApp, like the issue my colleague Aorabee talked about, Okankuru. I read a lot on his Facebook, because some of the issues that I quickly act, even before this public order, I'll just see it on his wall and then begin to call and ask questions regarding those issues. So we, all of us, like His Excellency is fond of saying, if you see something, say something. So a public order is being made public in Benue State, and if there are agents or persons that are trying to abuse the public order and making life unbearable for the people, instead of having the sanity that is deserved via this public order, please reach out, and the person will not, and I repeat, will not be spared. And then in addition to the issue that the point that I made the other time, the necessity of obtaining the permit from the Department of Public Order. I remember I said that you can apply and obtain this order online. A platform is being built for that. But in addition to that that permit that you are to be held responsible. We want to know the person that is doing business beyond 12. We want to know the person that is behind a social gathering beyond 10. In addition to that, the gathering is entitled to draw security attention, the other gathering, because you know that a social gathering is going on at high level beyond 10 o'clock. It's incumbent on us to get to security agency that somebody have applied and given genuine reason why that gathering must go beyond 10, so that security agency can also be around to watch what is happening around. So it's not an odd against people policy the way some persons are being interpreting it. Are interpreting it.
Okay.
And then
so,
on the question
Vincent.
of Kwasa Vincent on the issue of burial.
Yes.
Now the final document that I have in my hand, burial is not inclusive. The final document. I'll make this. It's a gazette. It's a public document. Now I don't know. There are some. Okay, one could have a soft copy and manipulate it the way they want. That's number one. Number two, this order, as you could see on the draft copy, that they have an effective day in February. You understand that it was not just somebody didn't just wake up and draft it in one day. It underwent some scrutiny by some persons. Now the final copy I have, work is not included.
Okay,
that's
Armstrong Yowase from High Level,
and then
asked us whether these are in tandem with extant laws
and his particular attention was on the issue of loitering beyond 12 midnight. He was asking whether it's
amounts to restriction of movement,
whether that amounts to infringement on the right of freedom of movement,
yes,
as guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. I did explain this earlier, that the choice of the word loitering was intentional. And let me go back to Daniel Turner. He said an issue that they were even arrested on the bike and all of that. Loitering, you cannot loiter on a motorbike in a car. It was intentional. That is, loitering was isolated. So it's not intended to limit or to infringe people's freedom of movement.
Okay, Honorable AG, when you say you cannot loiter in a car, it makes us, maybe if you as AG, for instance, it's just an example, supposing you don't have a car and you are just taking a brisk walk around the streets of High Level.
In the dead hours of the night, and it's not for any essential matter. You understand that there's a qualification for that provision. Just seeing you does not amount to immediately arresting you. You have the right to respond. Where are you going? What's your purpose? if you read that provision, there is a qualification. It's not that see anybody loitering, pursue, arrest, and prosecute. No.
But with that purpose.
There is a qualification. I plead with people as you're reading. Yes, you may have anxiety to criticize the public order, but read to the letter word of that provision. It's important.
It's all right. Let's engage with some more callers.
Hello, this is Edabaka. I greet. I get ready.
We greet you.
This
too.
is a beautiful one.
Thank you.
Because some of us personal experiences. I live in Agri Oil, and the place has now become a commercial area, where initially it was a residential area because the legislators during the days of Aperiku were giving what you call old assembly quarters. Now the whole place is commercialized. So you see, the creation of men is not the same. There are other people by their own creation, their mentality, their temperaments and so on are different. So you have a situation where in real time there is a shop in one of the plazas. Number one, you see these people on this plaza, you are living on the ground floor, they are standing over your head throughout the day. And then at night, you have a situation where children are walking to that shop, to and fro, some of them, the way they behave, you're not sure whether they're criminals. And I noticed that just because of this public order, this shop is now beginning to close a little bit earlier than 12. In the past, they will stay there. You are compelled to sleep. You don't know what they are going to do. So I think the public order is a very, very vital thing. The only thing we need is that it should not be abused. I remember the director was mentioning somebody who said he paid a bribe of whatever, of 200,000. Who are you that you are carrying 200,000 in the night? It means there's something about you. So this society already is in stress, and we need some order. People should behave. You are loitering in the night. They cannot just arrest you. Somebody will ask you a question before we do something.
Okay,
and if you give proper understanding of what you are doing,
he
will say, okay. He may even assist you and take you to your destination to reduce your stress.
All right.
So the public order is not of order, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution, Eda Balkan. The public order is good. It should not be abused. Thank you for your submission. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, my name is Benjamin Tewasi. I'm calling from high level.
Okay, Benjamin Tewasi, good to have you. Go ahead.
Sir, I want to thank Attorney General of Benue State. He has explained everything that we need to know about this executive order. But I still want to encourage that, most of our security agents, when this kind of order is given, they actually take advantage on the poor, most especially the people that ride bikes, ride motorcycles. You see, sometimes they arrest these motorcycles and take it to their station. You go there and pay a heavy money before it will be released to you. So the advisory committee, I don't know whether they are the ones responsible in checkmating the activities of these people that are the task force that are enforcing the law. They should also ensure that they are not corrupt, so that the aim and aspiration of the executive governor of Benue State will be achieved through this executive order.
Okay.
Secondly, there is something that I want to say. I know I am on the air, but thank God Attorney General of the state is here. I noticed a movement in Wadata that I was not comfortable with. I don't know, as a common man, I don't know how to go about it. But I think he should use his good office to interact with the elders in Wadata and Katungu to ensure that if there is any movement that they don't understand, they should either report to the security agents or they should also act fast about it by exposing these people. Because we cannot stay with them as neighbors and we'll be experiencing a kind of a security problem, like maybe they are harboring people around there. I don't know whether you getting my point.
Very well, thank you, Benjamin.
Yes, I am not accusing. I am not accusing them, but if they see something, they should better say something.
All right, thank you.
Because
you have made your point. We appreciate you. We must have to end it here now. Thank you very much, Benjamin. All right, thank you. We appreciate you. Okay, Barrister Aorabee, I am with you now.
Yes.
Also, part of this provision says no minor in any family within the state shall be sent on any errand or hawking of any goods or products during school hours or beyond the hours of 6 p.m. All acts carried out or perpetrated in violation of public morality and public decency are hereby prohibited, namely strippers club or naked strip dancing, any form of prostitution in public places or commercial sex hawking, use of minors as bartenders, or any form of class of work in a drinking joint, indecent dressing, or any form of nudity. No accommodation of minors at hotels or brothels except with the consent of their parents or guardians. They speak to us the context of this with regards to public morality.
One, I think that part of the law is targeted at protecting minors, which is very good. Like I said earlier, the Child Rights Act and the Child Rights Law of Benue State 2008 takes care of that. Unfortunately, there's supposed to be a committee put up in the state to handle these issues, but it is not there. If it is there, then some of these issues are supposed to be addressed. It is a good point that ought to have been not just brought up in the Public Order Act. It is good that it has been brought out, but I know that it exists. The protection of minors, particularly all this other infringement on the right of the child. A minor who doesn't know anything left from right, you are using, instead of sending him to school, or her to school, you send her on the street to hawk. It's wrong. Now, the Child Rights Law of Benue State 2008 cures that. It is good that the Attorney General said they are bringing out those things from the law so that they highlight them in the public order. So, strippers club under 18 is wrong. Any child that is under 18 is not supposed to be exposed to some of these things. I understand that the law is prohibiting usage, abuse of minors, and internationally, the right of the child protects pornography, nudity, and all that they are protected. The problem is the enforcement. That is always my problem. Enforcement. Laws are beautifully made, but then put the mechanisms in place to enforce them. The people just, I think earlier this year, we went for, the Attorney General and I were supposed to be in a meeting on the protection of the child right law. That is enforcement of the implementation of the child right law. There are resolutions we brought from Abuja, which I don't know whether the director that went has briefed the Attorney General on it, but there are supposed to be steps taken to ensure that this law is implemented. Okay, if you find a child loitering on the street or selling, hawking on the street, and maybe is is suffering from abuse, the Women Affairs Ministry or the concerned department in the Attorney General's office is supposed to follow up on that issue, get that child off the street. There are supposed to be places so that they can be kept at the expense of the state. So it is commendable, but I think we should look more on implementation because it's already prohibited. All these things are already taken care of the child's right law.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Nathaniel.
Welcome to the program.
Yeah, my name is Alexis.
Okay, Alexis, where are you
calling from Guist?
Okay, go ahead. Which part of Guist?
Park City.
Alexis, kindly help us understand what is Park City.
It's Balon Paka.
Okay, Paka. I think that is how the name is known in Benue. So when you call, let us know that it's Paka and not Park City, so as to keep us and other listeners wondering. Go ahead, Alexis.
Thank you. The order being passed by the governor of Benue State, that is the executive governor of the state, that is an order on public laws. It's a very good development. And thank God the barristers there and the attorney general there for creating the awareness. And also the information and control and monitoring has to be the guidance of this. So, are we starting with at the grassroots, or are we saying it's on security issues? On security issues, it's good and fine. He has done well for the past 1 year. But if we are not thinking about the parastatals and the ministry also, I don't think we'll get it right. Because an order was passed by the governor of the state that all areas should be paid. And up to now in primary healthcare.
That is outside our focus, Alexis. Alexis, thank you.
I'm sorry.
That is outside our focus on the program. So maybe you should conclude at that. Thank you. That will be our last call because our time is no longer there. Thank you, Alexis. Okay, Director Barrister Okwe, I am with you now. A part of the provisions of this public order pronouncement declaration is any person or acts in contravention of the provisions of this order shall be summarily, I am underlining the word summarily, tried and punished in line with the provisions of the extant laws operating in the state. Why summary trial and punishment? If any of these acts, some of which we have highlighted, is violated, why summarily being tried?
The use of the expression summarily, it is not intended to maybe do it in a military fashion. It is not intended. If you check the provision of so many of our laws, especially the Administration of Justice Act and the Administration of Justice law in the state, you will see some of those expressions being used. The essence is to deal with the issue with dispatch. To deal with the issue at hand with dispatch. There should be no delay. There should be no, like people complain about what is happening, manipulation of offenders to extort things from them that are not in order with the public order and with the laws of the state. So it is intended that we have been complaining about delay in the administration of justice in Nigeria generally. Courts are congested, the prisons are congested, the lower courts are congested. So we don't want the same scenario in which the issues that will be coming to the tribunal that will be set up. And let me say that, also point out on the issue of the tribunal and the task force, the law, the order says that there's going to be a gazette and the guidelines, the details of whatever that we're talking about here, task force, tribunal, advisory committee, the details will be spelled out in the gazette.
Okay, it's all right. Honorable AG, I am with you now. And this is one of the points as highlighted in that public order proclamation, false information on social media, bracket in hate speech. Under this order, any person desiring special consideration or waiver to be granted for whatever purpose shall apply to the Department of Public Order for a permit under such terms and conditions as the department may grant. False information on social media, hate speech in particular. And also there is a provision, a fine of not less than 20,000 naira and not more than 500,000 are taken into cognizance the conduct of the offender and the act involved. Failure to pay the fine imposed upon conviction. If an item or property is involved, same shall be impounded until the fine is paid, provided that upon failure to pay the fine within 30 days from the date of commission of the offense, the property shall be forfeited to the Benue State government. Walk us through some of the context of this, especially with regards to false information and social media. Does this not amount to gagging people, curtailing freedom of expression? Honorable AJ.
Like I said from the beginning, it's not in my document. Hate speech, it's not in my document. So, because like I said, the document has been drafted and has been worked on over and over, and the final copy I have, it's not there. Now, let me just walk through, let me start from the issue of summary trial. First and foremost, like I said from the beginning, this pronouncement emphasized mostly existing law. And the magistrate courts that we have is a court that has summary jurisdiction, mean that they have the jurisdiction to try offenses summarily. So using the word summarily is not coming up for the first time as far as this issue is concerned. Let me take you through a practical scenario. Somebody is driving on a wrong lane. Instead of going observing the normal traffic lane, you're driving on the wrong lane, and you are caught daring. And let's say a situation where there is a magistrate who forms a mobile court that is there. This guy is caught right there. And because it's a summary trial, it doesn't stop you to say that, yes, I'm caught here, but I want to have my lawyer to come and appear for me before this. We've been appearing before a mobile court as lawyers. Mobile court that takes in traffic offenses and some other instances that mobile courts sit. We've been appearing there. So it doesn't stop you from having the right of representation even at that court or at the tribunal. And let me
Honorable AJ, because we are fast out of time. That is established. Go back to the issue of his speech.
I say it's not in my document.
It's not in your document. So there's nothing about
it's in the draft document. Yeah, that's been circulated, but not in my final document that I have. So I don't want to talk.
Honorable AJ, like I mentioned earlier, you may do the public a lot of good to make available this clean document you have now, because the one we access is also from government officials, spokespersons, that is made public.
Yes.
Right.
I told you that it's been gazetted. It's a public document, can be obtained anywhere. But of course, I will make sure that it's being published. The commonly used social media, so that also the gazetted copy go round. So when you pick an issue in the gazetted copy, we are on the same page.
So you are telling Benue people that there is no hate speech law infringement,
issue of hate speech,
social media tagging in the public order proclamation. Is that what you are telling Benue people?
The issue of hate speech has really been discussed. It was a heated issue discussed in the country, and a position is taken on those issues long before now. Yes, you understand that some laws are being emphasized, but this document cannot talk about all laws. The police, the relevant agency are already handling the issue of cyber stalking. A lot of some of these issues that I feel that it's unnecessary for us to, as a state, to waste our time dragging into. You have you've made a unfounded speech on the social media. The relevant law enforcement agency picks you up. You are tried based on that. And one may ask, why didn't you include that here, or include there are issues of murder? I don't need to include them here. You understand? I just look at silent laws that will help us reposition Benue as a better state, to emphasize them out. So these issues have been taken care of, and they have been enforced at the highest quarter. And then, as Attorney General, I've constituted a special prosecution team on these issues of cyber stalking. Is part of the offenses that the special prosecution team is prosecuting the offenders. So I think bringing it to come and talk about here, it will be like a waste of our time. Now, let me get to the issue.
Our time is we are totally out of time now. Whatever you are getting to now should be your parting words, and it should be very succinct, because we didn't start on time now. We're already
thank you so much. Thank you so much, and then thank the Benue people. Thank Agate Radio for giving me this opportunity to make some explanation that I've done here. Two things. Number one, the public order, made through this executive order, is the people's order. Don't look it as a sword against the citizens of Benue, but it's for positioning the Benue people, the Benue State in the right direction by His Excellency Reverend Father Dr. Hyson Yomimalia. And the second issue is we are not aloof that there could be, there is possibility of abuse. The state is watching. Our lines will be thrown open. If you see any instance of abuse, please report immediately so that we will not throw the state into, instead of trying to correct the wrongs in the society, to throw the state in a state of anarchy. That's my parting word to the people of Benue State. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Barrister Aorabee, give us your parting words on this whole summary of all the discussions and the reactions of the callers.
My parting word is that the intention is good. The output may not be as good as the intention, but I will suggest some things that, if there's security patrol, some of this, if the police and the security agents are living up to their expectations, you go out of town by 9 o'clock, all the checkpoints, the police have disappeared. They have gone back to sleep in their houses when they're supposed to be on duty patrolling to make sure that no crime takes place. If they are alive to their duties, some of these things may not be necessary. Then the issue of summary trial, I just wanted to chip in. Summary trial does not mean summary execution. Summary trial means you try somebody without necessarily filing a charge, going through the rigorous process of filing a charge and taking plea and all that. Once you get him to court, he can agree to stand his trial, and that is gone. By and large, the intention is good, but it should be fine-tuned so that it doesn't conflict with the rights of the people. Thank you.
Okay, Barrister Okwe, you are the acting director of public order. This whole thing, stop on your desk, is what you said that the AG will also listen to. I think so. You were advising right. Give us your parting words and what you want the Benue people to know with regards to how your department, along with the other components of this public order department, will be working to ensure that rights of citizens are not infringed upon.
Thank you so much. My parting words, we have spoken so much grammar in the studio. I want to speak to the ordinary people.
Yes.
In my parting words. Public order is about our attitude, our behavior, our conduct in our families, in our communities. It is about our conduct in our neighborhood, and it is about our conduct in our offices, in our schools. How a person behaves or conducts himself or herself in the street, in the marketplace, in the place of worship. Wherever you find yourself, public order is talking about good behavior. What we will do to have decency in the society, we have sanity in the society, we have some level of morality in the society. That is what public order is all about. So it's not just about, we're not just speaking grammar, that let the ordinary people get these points very clear, that we want decency in the society, safety, and we want sanity in the society.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for...
We appreciate you. Honorable AG, maybe there's no mention of conventional media in the public order. So we hope the conventional media, the radio stations, televisions, and newspapers are free to do their job.
Yeah, they form the component of the essential services.
It's okay. Thank you very much. This is where we'll conclude on today's edition of Perspectives, which we discuss the proclamation of the public order in Benue State by His Excellency Governor Hyson Yomimalia, and we had here in the studio to shed light on the issues in the public order, the Attorney General and the Commissioner for Justice and Public Order in Benue State, Barrister Fidelis. Honorable Attorney General, we are grateful to you for coming on Perspectives.
Thank you so much.
We also appreciate the Acting Director of Public Order in the Ministry of the Justice and Public Order, Benue State, Barrister Jones Okwe. Thank you for coming on the program, sir.
Thank you so much.
A private legal practitioner based here in Makurdi, and a senior lawyer, Barrister Oscar Aorabee. Thank you for your thoughts on the program.
Thank you.
Dear listener, join us again next week, Monday, for another edition of Perspectives. The assurance of the authorities, the AG and his director, is that rights of citizens will not be infringed upon, and the security will be checked so they don't get to unnecessarily harass citizens in enforcing the public order. My name is Nathaniel Nongu. I'll see you next week, Monday. Have yourself a great weekend. Goodbye.